Hello and welcome back. Today, we're diving into something I find absolutely fascinating, the world of classic cars. But we're not just looking at them as beautiful machines. Oh no, we're looking at them as high-value financial assets. Think of them as bank vaults on wheels. Just think about it for a second. What if that car sitting in your garage wasn't just for turning heads on a Sunday drive? What if it was also your bank account? A way to get instant capital for a new business or to jump on a sudden opportunity? Well, that's the core idea we're going to unpack today. Cars as seriously powerful, tangible collateral. So how does this actually work? Well, the process is called classic car pawning, and it's surprisingly simple. If you own a high-value, collectible car, you can use it to get a short-term loan. In this world, a rare automobile is treated with the same financial respect you'd give to a piece of fine art or a handful of rare diamonds. It's a serious business. Okay, so this begs the question, what is it that transforms four wheels and an engine into a six or even seven-figure asset? I mean, what are the secret ingredients that pump up the value to these incredible levels? Well, it's really a cocktail of different things. Of course, you've got the basics, age, rarity, and whether it's in pristine mint condition. But beyond the physical stuff, there are two elements that add a kind of magic. There's desirability, that hard-to-define it factor. And then there's what's often the most powerful element of all, provenance. That's the car's unique story. All right, let's stop talking theory. Let's see how these ideas actually create value in the real world by looking at some of the most iconic brands out there. These case studies are just perfect examples of how it all works. And first up, you guessed it, Aston Martin. Founded way back in 1913, but its most famous era really kicked off in 1947 under an owner named David Brown, and his initials, DB, would become absolutely legendary. The brand is the very definition of British luxury, performance, and, well, a certain secret agent. And right here, this is where you see the incredible power of provenance. The link to James Bond just catapulted Aston Martin from a respected carmaker into a global cultural icon. That connection adds an almost incalculable amount of value to these cars. This cultural connection is literally baked into the DB dynasty. The DB5 is, of course, the most famous Bond car ever from Goldfinger. But the connection runs so deep. The DBS was in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and even the later V8 Vantage got its moment in the spotlight. This movie history makes these specific cars insanely desirable. Okay, now for a brand with a totally different kind of story, Bugatti. Its history is this dramatic roller coaster of spectacular highs, a tragic collapse, and then a modern rebirth. And that wild ride is exactly what makes its early models so mystifyingly valuable. You see, after Ettore Bugatti's death in 1947, the original company just vanished for decades. This huge gap means that an original, pre-war Bugatti isn't just a classic car. It's a survivor. It's a relic from a lost era, which makes its rarity and its value absolutely astronomical. All right, now for a really fascinating contrast. Let's look at two giants that sit at completely opposite ends of the luxury world, Porsche and Rolls-Royce. They both command huge values, but for totally different reasons. Porsche's value is all about performance. We're talking legendary engineering and that pure, raw, analog supercar feel, especially with the older air-cooled models. Rolls-Royce, on the other hand, it's about supreme craftsmanship and unparalleled luxury. It's not about how fast you get there, it's about the statement you make when you arrive. And what a statement it is. Just look at this number, £4.7 million. That was the auction price for a 1912 Rolls-Royce known as the Corgi. This one sale just shows you how age, rarity, and a unique story can combine to create mind-boggling value. But Porsche is definitely playing in the same league. Now, this number might look smaller, but we're talking about over £700,000 for an ultra-rare prototype of the 356 Cabriolet from the 1950s. This isn't just a car. It's a piece of Porsche's origin story. It's a testament to the engineering that would define the brand for decades to come. So we've seen how this incredible value gets created. But how does a pawnbroker translate all that into a concrete loan offer? Well, they use a very specific checklist to figure out a vehicle's worth. Let's use a Rolls-Royce as our example. The whole process is super methodical. Step 1, they confirm its age and rarity. Is it a collectible? Step 2, they get up close and personal, scrutinizing its condition for any scratches, chips, or damage. And step 3, they dive into the service history. looking for proof that it has original parts and has been meticulously maintained. And that brings us to what might be the most crucial point of all. Documentation is everything. A car might have had a famous first owner, but if you don't have the original registration documents to prove it, that part of its story is just gone. Service records prove the car has been cared for, which is absolutely vital for keeping its value high. Okay, let's bring all of this together. After looking at these incredible machines, what have we really learned? It all comes down to this. These classic cars are so much more than just hobbies or status symbols. They are the ultimate example of how a beautiful possession can literally transform into a useful, liquid financial asset, one that's capable of freeing up a lot of capital right when you need it most. When you step back and look at the whole picture, it really makes you ask a much bigger question about where value even comes from in the first place. So here's the takeaway. First, value is a story. It's woven together from history, cultural significance, like the whole James Bond effect, and pure simple rarity. Second, these are tangible assets. You can see them, you can touch them. Their value is physical, not just a number on a screen. And finally, passion is a real form of investment. The love that collectors have for these cars is what fuels the entire market. Which leaves us with one final fascinating question to chew on. If an object's value is so deeply tied to the power of its story, is there any real limit to how valuable it can become? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.